We will soon be streaming to Facebook. I think Facebook is go. Welcome, Facebook. And next up, oh, here we are. Right, okay. Oh, we're getting sound now, so you're probably going to hear me twice. Hold on, let me stop that from happening. There we go. That's okay. Everything looks good. Broadcast shared on Twitter, it says. I think for the first time ever, we are live on Twitter. That's the hope anyway. I'm not gonna know about it until after I'm done. But in case I am, hello Twitter, it's good to see you. Welcome to the Epic Tales Corner of the World Storytelling Cafe. That's where we are here. In about 5.5 minutes, we are going to be launching World Space Week here at Epic Tales with a fantastic story. We welcome you wherever you are watching from, be it on YouTube or Vimeo, the World Storytelling Cafe itself, or even, that's right, epictales.co.uk itself. If you are there, then you'll also see a little button that says Join Story. And if you do that, you'll be able to be here in the cafe with me and Yuliu, who is our World Storytelling Cafe elf, who makes sure that everything is running really smoothly. I think he's doing a fantastic job this morning. It must be because he knows it's World Space Week and he really loves the idea of, yeah, he's nodding, he loves rockets and space and science and all things like that. And if you click on that little join story button, you'll be right here with us. Now, we won't be able to see you unless you have a camera. We won't be able to hear you unless you have a microphone. You don't have to have either of those things, but if you do, it will allow me to hear you and maybe get some of your suggestions. It will allow me to see you and maybe see your smiles, which helps me to smile. But don't worry if you can't do that. If you're just watching anywhere else, that's absolutely fine. You are going to have lots of fun, I'm absolutely sure, because it's World Space Week. It is. I'm so excited. You can see I put on my special shiny futuristic shirt just for today. You've never seen this shirt, I think, right now, have you? Never ever seen it. This is the first time I've worn it for any storytelling. So I'm looking forward to today's story, which is going to start in 3.5 minutes, as wonderfully displayed by the sun here. The story we've got for you today is really exciting. Of course it is, because it's World Space Week, but it's a very old story as well. It's a story that was around long before there were any rockets. Do you know what? I've started to think that's not the sign for rocket, is it? That's the sign for rocket. If that was the sign for rocket, it would be taking the world with it, wouldn't it? So I do apologize. This is rocket. That's what we should be saying for World Space Week, isn't it? How are you all doing this morning? Have you had a good weekend? Looking forward to World Space Week? Don't forget, you can join us right here in the World Storytelling Cafe if you've got a camera or a microphone, or not. It doesn't matter. It would just be good to see you in here. Don't worry if you can't do that, though. It's lovely to see you wherever you are watching from, be it on Facebook or YouTube or your garden shed, your school roof, the moon. It is World Space Week after all. You could be watching from a ditch. You could be watching from a witch's tavern. You could be watching from a cavern. You could be watching from a cave. You could be watching while you're having a shave. There could be all sorts of ways that you're watching, really, couldn't there? Oh, and my little friend here is always the one who reminds me that when we start off Epic Tales, we have a little introduction designed for us by the wonderful Dave Hingley. And in that introduction, a little star is going to pop out with me inside, and I am going to ask you to give a couple of claps to launch the story. Launch is a proper word for World Space Week, isn't it? So to launch the story, when you see that little star pop out, give a couple of claps like this. Just like that. It's really easy. And to help us demonstrate, Janina is going to pop up in the star in just a few seconds. So if we get our hands ready for a practice, I've got my hands ready. And as soon as we see Janina, we want to give a couple of claps, just like you would do when you see me in the opening animation. I'm getting excited because I know she's going to pop up soon. Any moment. There we go. Was I in time today? I don't think Yuliu was watching. I think Yuliu was too busy concentrating on his own claps. You, I hope, got it though, and very soon our animation will begin. You'll be able to join in yourself with the start of today's epic tale, which is in less than half a minute. 21 seconds. It's changing all the time, isn't it? 21 seconds, in fact, and we will launch into World Space Week with this fantastic story. Are you ready? Because, well, you have to be, really, don't you? Because we've only got 5 seconds. Hands ready to clap, and here we go. There it is. The warmest of welcomes to you here, to the World Storytelling Cafe. It is so good to see you here, especially today, because today is the start of World Space Week. Today, we are starting to celebrate all things to do with space. It's a wonderful place, isn't it? If you've ever looked up in the night sky, you've maybe noticed a tiny little light shining down from up there. And then you've probably noticed a few other little lights shining down from up there. There are billions of them. I mean, billions, so many that there are more than there are seconds in your life. That's how huge space is. If you go to the seaside and you have a look at all the sand on the beach, you will not be able to see as many grains of sand as there are stars shining in the sky. It is amazing up there, and it's no wonder that for a very long time, lots of people have looked up and thought how amazing it would be to go up there. They even thought that a long time ago in the land that we now call Mexico. This was a place where the humans would look up and they could see the sun, and they could see the moon, and they instinctively knew exactly what the story was of the sun and the moon. And I would like to share that story with you right now. You see, the sun and the moon had lived near each other in the sky for a very long time, and they were very good friends. Really good friends. But the sun wanted more. The sun wanted the moon to marry him. He really loved the moon. He thought she was beautiful. So, at the start of this story, the sun went and asked the moon to marry him. Now, the moon, she did like the sun. They were good friends, remember? And they had been for a long time. But she didn't really love him. And while she thought that, yeah, he was quite hot, she didn't think he would be good husband material. She just wanted to keep him as a friend. This gave her a bit of a problem, though. How could she say no to the sun while staying friends? She didn't really want to hurt his feelings. So she thought long and hard, and then an idea popped into her head. She knew exactly what to say to keep the sun happy, but without marrying him and without hurting his feelings. This is what she said. She said, "Yes, I will marry you on one condition. You need to find me something to wear that fits me perfectly." Well, the sun was really happy and excited about this. It was exactly what he wanted to hear. Well, nearly. He hadn't been expecting the whole find me something to wear that will fit me perfectly. But he was sure that would be easy. All he needed to do was get the measurements of the moon and then go out and look for something that would fit her perfectly. So he took the measurements of the moon and found that she was exactly size 8. So we need to remember that. Size 8. Exactly. You got that? That was what the sun needed to remember. And then he went flying off to his favorite planet, a place you may have heard of actually, a place called Earth. The sun went there to look for something that the moon could wear that would be exactly size 8. That's right, 8. Now, something that you maybe knew is that the sun was magic. And he could use that magic to change anything into clothes. He had a little think about what the moon might like to wear. And of course, he knew that ladies really like to wear dresses. He thought the moon would look beautiful in a dress. And as he went soaring over the earth, he saw some lush green trees. And he thought they would make a stunning dress. So he got ready to use his magic. Maybe you can do this as well if you wave your hands around and wiggle your fingers. As he cast his spell, he said, "Change these trees, not a moment too late, into a dress that is exactly size 8. And in a flash, those trees had changed into a dress that was exactly size 8. So really excitedly, the sun now took that dress all the way to the moon for her to try on. But oddly, the dress was really baggy and loose and slipping off the moon's shoulders. The sun was a little bit confused. He was sure that he had remembered the right size. What was it again? It was size 8, yeah. And he measured the dress. Yep, that was exactly size 8. And now he measured the moon, and she was exactly size 6. Oh, the sun had clearly not remembered correctly. He felt a little bit silly. The number 6 does look a little bit like the number 8, doesn't it? So it's easy maybe to see where the confusion came from. So the sun wasn't worried. He really, really wanted to marry the moon. So he wasn't going to give up. The sun went off again, flying around his favorite planet of Earth, hoping to find something for the moon to wear that would be exactly size, what is it now? 6. And as he was soaring around the world, he noticed the sand, the golden sands of the desert. And he thought this would make a beautiful skirt, because he knew lots of ladies like to wear skirts. So again, he got ready to cast a spell over those golden sands. And again, you might want to join in with this. You can wave your hands around and wiggle your fingers. He looked down and he said, "Change these sands to get me out of this fix. Make a skirt that is exactly size 6. And in a flash, the sands had changed into a beautiful golden skirt. Well, now the sun was really happy and excited. He rushed that skirt off to the moon. And the moon dutifully tried it on, but it was a bit loose. It wasn't really hanging to her hips at all. She was having to hold it up to stop it from falling down. The sun was very confused. He was sure he had got the measurements right. He measured the skirt, and it was exactly size 6. And then, of course, he measured the moon, and she was exactly size 4. Now, the sun was feeling really, really silly. Because 4 doesn't look anything like the number 6, does it? I mean, all the fingers are over here. The sun was beginning to feel a little bit sad. But he still really wanted to marry the moon. He really loved her. So he was not going to give up. The sun went flying back to his favorite planet of Earth. Now looking for something that the moon could wear that was exactly size 4. I need a bit of waking up this morning, don't I? Well, the sun came to the mountains, and he could see lots of diamonds sparkling around the mountains. And he knew that some women like to wear trousers. He thought those diamonds would make some beautiful trousers. So he got ready to cast his magic spell again. And again, if you can, maybe wave your hands around, wiggle your fingers. I wonder if you've been able to help the sun complete his magic spells. This one went something like this. Change these diamonds. Not one moment more. So I get some trousers that are exactly size 4. And in a flash, there, the diamonds in front of the sun changed into a beautiful pair of sparkling trousers. The sun was really excited now. He was absolutely sure that these were going to fit the moon, and soon they would be married. So he rushed with those trousers off to see the moon, and she, of course, put them on. But they were really baggy too. Not only was she having to hold them up to stop them from falling down, but she was nearly tripping over the ends of the legs. They were far too long for her. And the sun was really confused. He'd measured the trousers, and they were exactly size 4. And when he measured the moon, well, she was exactly size 2. Now, the sun was really sad, thinking that the moon's condition was just too hard. And so he began to sulk off into the distance. That's not a very happy end to this story, is it? Not really. We don't want to start World Space Week in such a gloomy way, do we? Don't worry, I promise you that there is definitely a happy end to this story. But I'm only going to share it with you if you complete this week's epic challenge. And it's a really great fun one today. Of course, it is World Space Week. And so what we'd like you to do is think about what the sun could maybe make for the moon to wear. And just as importantly, what could he make it out of? Where could he get that from? You might be able to think of what he's already found in the story, maybe diamonds from mountains or golden sands from the desert. But you could maybe be more specific than that and say it's the sands of Africa or diamonds from Switzerland. Maybe instead of just being trees from a forest, it could be trees from the rainforest. Maybe you could have him use the feathers from birds. I'm sure they wouldn't mind giving him some to make a lovely, beautiful rainbow dress or an entire outfit that the moon will not be able to resist. Have a think about what the sun could get for the moon to wear. Think about where he could get it from, and think about a magic spell he could cast to make it. If you can do that as well with a rhyming word in there, like I did, then that will be even more perfect. How you choose to put your magic spells together is entirely up to you. You could write them down. You could paint a picture to show what the sun is making for the moon. You could even dress up in that yourself. Have fun if you're going to dress up in diamonds. Maybe speak to some grown-ups about that. I'm sure you'll be able to find some teachers with loads of diamonds stashed away. Or maybe you could go and get into the sand pit with a nice wet t-shirt and cover yourself in sand, because that's a good way to make a sand stick to you, to show yourself wearing some sandy clothes. Or you could maybe pop into the forest and see what materials there might be that the sun could use to make some clothes for the moon. Dress up in it and maybe record a little video of you saying the magic spell. Any of these ways are fun, however you want to do it, by writing or drawing or recording a little video of yourself. Please do send it to us at epictales.co.uk/challenge. And if you can do that before the end of Thursday, then I will be back here in the World Storytelling Cafe with some of your ideas to share with everybody, and part 2 of the sun and moon story. I get those the wrong way round. Sun and moon. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Help me get my story in order by sending your ideas for little magic spells, or where the sun could be getting his magic clothes from, the materials for making those clothes, and I'll share with you part 2. And hopefully we will then have a happy ending for World Space Week. Thank you. Thank you again ever so much for joining me here today at the World Storytelling Cafe. It only remains for me to say cheerio, and I hope to hear your story soon. So, cheerio! And I hope to hear your stories soon.